Hello and welcome back, everyone. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. If you saw the last video, this is literally like 2 minutes later. If you didn't see it and you want to see how we finally stopped doing Unakalhide dirty and found him a new home and a new purpose, spoilers, I suppose, then that video will already be up. So go check it out. But we're doing the MSQ now. We're doing the 5.4 MSQ. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy it. Alizé's Quest. Oh man, that'd be a great spin-off, wouldn't it? I'd pay $60 to play Alizé's Quest. Oh, greetings, Ethys. Come to look in on our friends. Rest assured, everyone is quite well. I've been keeping a close eye on them and have satisfied myself that they are all in fine health. As a matter of fact, they're just about to convene in Dawn's Respite to discuss how best to use their pent-up energy. Let's join them, shall we? You know, Kryle, I think Twitter would have a few suggestions
Well,
from some of the fan art that I've seen.
Now that we have all settled back into our bodies,
No, just me?
it is time we resumed our duties in earnest. Let us speak of our plans.
Okay.
Ever since the Emperor's death, it's been one unsettling rumor after another. I have a mind to pay a visit to Garlemald to ascertain the truth of the matter.
A prudent endeavor. 'Tis of the essence that we establish the full extent of the threat, not least if it should prove that Xenos doth indeed orchestrate events from the shadows. In light of which possibility, I shall accompany thee on thy mission. Be assured that thou shalt find me more a help than a hindrance. Thou requirest another to imbue thine ammunition, dost thou not?
Wow, this is, Orange's grown an awful lot beyond being like, nah, you guys go off, do your thing, I got some research to do. I'll be right here.
Assuming that's settled, there's something I've been meaning to look into as well.
Are we gonna go see Gabu?
Welcome back, everyone.
You too, Liz? You doing in
Liz?
Mordona?
You're fine now, right? No more headaches or keeling over?
That's right. We're fighting fit and raring to go.
The famous Lys Hext, former scion and hero of the Alamegan resistance.
Oh my god, is this whole patch just gonna be Graha fanboying over every single one of our companions? Oh, I love this.
I don't believe we've met.
Really? It's so easy to assume that all Archons are acquainted. But then I suppose your fields of expertise are rather different.
Well, first of all, Kryle, Lys is not an... Wait. Kryle knows that... Kryle does know that this is not Eda, right? Kryle has figured that out. And yes, it's, you know, important to note that Graha was one of the students of Baldesion and was, you know, off on the Isle of Val and not in Old Charlayan or presumably at all really on the Eorzean colony.
Graha here at your service. I have read much and more about your exploits, Commander. It is a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
Oh my goodness.
Likewise. The others told me all about you.
Do not be so sure. Words scarcely do justice to the vital role he played in our victory in the First. A more dependable comrade one would be hard-pressed to find.
Oh, Oh, right. I did glance at the report. But I'd be lying if I said I understood half of it. Well, that's a lot to take in. Just to be clear, this means we're not heading for another calamity, does it?
Well, not that calamity, Liz. I mean, we're always headed for another calamity, aren't we? Let's be realistic.
Shorn of their unsundered master's leadership, what Ascians remain shall struggle to see their plans to fruition.
Yeah, they'll just destroy the whole world instead, Urianger.
And though I would ever advise caution, I believe we may rest easy for a time.
I'll take that as a yes. Even so, I don't know what to make of this business about Hydaelyn and Zodiac being primals.
A difficult truth to bear, yes. But at last we understand the nature of our adversary. And if there are no further calamities, neither will there be rejoinings, meaning Zodiac will never regain his full strength. Even so, as the oldest and mightiest of primals, he remains a force to be feared. Though his is a power born of the desire for salvation, we have seen the havoc it may wreak. And it falls to us to ensure that it is never again brought to bear upon this star.
But tell us, Lys, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit?
What do you mean? Isn't seeing my long-lost comrades reason enough? Alright, there was one other matter. I have a message from the Alliance, and before you ask, yes, it's about the Empire. So, after Emperor Varys' assassination, it seems his cousin Nerva made a bid for the throne.
Okay, now this is stuff that we have been learning about through Bozja, which is interesting. Tying that back in.
The trouble is, he wasn't the only one with designs on it, and it didn't take long for a civil war to break out. And it's not just in the provinces. Early reports say huge swathes of the Imperial capital have been reduced to rubble.
Yeah, we're done with Shadowbringers. Time to get back to Stormblood.
The Alliance will soon convene in Alamigo to decide on a course of action, and we were hoping you'd come along.
Well, as it happens, Urianger and I were just this moment planning a little trip to Garlemald, and we should be grateful for any advice the Alliance can provide on how best to make the most of our visit.
To Alamigo, then.
Why don't you go on without me? There's something I need to look into.
Oh, forgive me. You were just telling us. What is it, if I may ask?
I want to find a way to cure the Tempered.
Of course. You think it may be possible to adapt the treatment you use to help those corrupted by the Sin Eaters?
I'm sorry, a cure for tempering? But that would change everything. Alizé, consider yourself uninvited. Go and find us this cure.
I'll do my best. I was hoping you might join me. Don't worry if not, though. I won't hold it against you if you'd rather attend a stuffy meeting.
Alizé, don't throw that shade on me. You know I want to do both. All right, okay.
I knew you'd say yes.
I'll come too. If you don't mind, that is.
Mind? I'm sure they would be glad of your company. Pray, enjoy your time together with your hero.
Oh no, is this a little love triangle now?
No, that's not... I mean, I simply thought my knowledge might be of some use.
Oh, Graha got jealous that we were going to spend time with Alize. I got mixed feelings about this new Graha. On one hand, like, it's pretty adorable, but on the other hand, I'm just like, dude, just be cool, man. When your stall is about, one cannot afford even the slightest slip. Ay. Ryan, mate, thank you so much for that resub. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, Shadowbringers is I don't know if I call it filler, but it's kind of like a tangent, isn't it? Which is kind of interesting because the two most, I would say, like, popular narratives, the two most popular storylines in the Final Fantasy XIV MSQ have both been, you know, tangents, right? Heaven's Ward and Shadowbringers. No? Yeah, I hope you'll get over it as well, Data. It's cute, but I feel like it's gonna get kind of old. I like Stormblood too, I really like Stormblood, and I'm glad that we're kind of getting back to that action. When I set out to save Halric, I think Garbu was always lost at the back of my mind. Sorry. I read lost from the other line. That's the complete opposite meaning. I think Garbu was always at the back of my mind. And having proved that the light corrupted are not lost, I'm convinced the same must be true of the tempered. Similar to those corrupted by the Sin Eaters, the ether of Garbu's soul has been rendered stagnant. Yeah. Yes. That's right. We came with a hypothesis that that tempering was kind of like the same as becoming a Sin Eater, right? When you become a Sin Eater, it's because your ether has been too far polarized towards umbral or light. And the theory that Alize posited is that tempering was the same, but rather than to a pole, it's to an elemental aspect. So intuitively, being tempered by Titan would be that your soul's ether has been too far aspected to Earth, and you basically, you know, lose control as a result, and that's that ether is manipulated by the entity that sort of has mastery over it, I suppose. We see this in like a very literal way with Leviathan, with the Drowned, where Leviathan will repeatedly temper his subjects, and the more he does, the more they become these like Cthulhic kind of monsters, and undergo like a physical transformation with you know, like wavekin kind of stuff, like fins and tentacles and or like gills and all of that kind of stuff, which I suppose is, you know, like the water equivalent of the Sin Eater transformation in a lot of ways. Yeah. So it seems that there is definitely something about the elemental aspect being manipulated that goes on with tempering. So it's a sound theory. It's an interesting theory. I guess we'll see where she carries it. And though the root cause is different, perhaps the solution is the same. It is by no means an unreasonable hypothesis, Alize, and it warrants full investigation. If there's even a chance we can save Garbu, we have to try. However much I'd like to race over to Limsa and set to work, there's no room for recklessness, not when a child's life is at stake. Yeah, the Stasha Hard boss is an example, yes, exactly. As I'm sure Beklug would remind us, We still know little and less about the soul. Any number of things could go wrong if we don't exercise due caution. And so, before attempting anything, we should learn all we possibly can about tempering. Yes! Oh, this is so good. Please tell me that we're going to... Oh, please tell me that we're going to the Gabor Library and you're going to let us actually read some books. Dare I hope. It's just one problem. Research into the condition has long since ground to a halt, and the combined work of the many scholars involved doesn't exactly amount to a wealth of knowledge. Not of the modern scholars, perhaps. What of their ancient counterparts? I know the Allegans took a more than passing interest in the subject. Yo! We going to Azazlar? Oh, no way. Wait, how do you know about the Etherochemical Research Facility, Graha? How do you know about that? And what if what we seek is to be found anywhere, it would surely be at the Etherochemical Research Facility. Yo! Where they experimented on primals and their worshippers, yes? Good thinking. I've never actually been there myself, but I did read the reports on Azazlar. Which means we'll be needing an airship. An airship, you say? Meet me at the northern bank of Lake Silvertear. I've got a little surprise for you. Oh, and come prepared to travel. Has Tataru bought a fucking airship? Oh my. Yeah, good point, Jarek. Yeah, he would have learnt about it. But then he would have also learnt that it was, you know, shielded and all of that, and that, no, I'm not gonna overthink it. Okay, these guys are doing their same thing. So I don't suspect they're gonna have anything new to say. What about Riel? Does Riel have anything new to say? Oh, you do? Kinda? Kinda, vaguely. Ooh, that's not the Excelsior. Can we... I want to, like, step on it and have a good look at it. Yeah, I was half expecting... What are these things called? These busts? That they put on the prows of ships? I know there's a specific name for them. I was half expecting it to be Tataru. That would have been good, actually. I would have loved that. Figurehead? No, there's another name for it. I'm sure there's another name for it. Oh, thank you, Bocom. And I'll rate it when I've finished it. I give you the Bonanza, the Scion's very own airship. Bonanza, really? Really? I built her as a company project with help from our friends at the Rising Stones and named her for luck and prosperity. Taru, this is amazing. We ought to fly just about anywhere we want. Our garments were impressive enough, but to build an entire airship, I see the annals do not exaggerate the many talents of the Scion's fabled coin keeper. I'd also introduce myself as your pilot, except the training didn't go quite as well as I'd hoped. That's alright, because we've hired this capable fellow here instead. The Bonanza is equipped with a full complement of mana cutters, by the way. Feel free to use them to get around Azazlar. But enough talk, it's time to fly. All aboard. The Minfilia Carlos game. Yeah, it is kind of like evocative of Minfilia's outfit, isn't it? Maybe the figurehead's supposed to be Minfilia. They should have named her they should have named it the Minfilia, if that's the case. Okay, though, it's nice. Did I ever mention that I was fond of flying? Because I am. Be it on an airship, an Amaro, or a chocobo, there's nothing so exhilarating as feeling the wind on your face as the horizon unfolds before you. Honestly, Sid would be jealous of the way that airship flies. Tara has outdone herself. Anyway, here we are on Azys Lla. Alphino's report did not do the scale of this place justice. Kind of surprised that Alizé hasn't been up here. The wisdom of Alec. This appears to be Helix, which means we're standing in the Alpha Quadrant. The east lies the Beta Quadrant, and... yes, I believe I have my bearings. Though this is my first time on Azys Lla, I do have some familiarity with the place thanks to the records in the Crystal Tower. Unless I'm mistaken, this path leads to an aetheryte, beyond which there will be an information terminal. I suggest we begin our search there. Hello, Mircaster. Good to see you. You're doing alright? Do you think it's a good idea to tell them that there's still an Imperial Legion hanging around here, marooned? Time for our authority on Allagan artifacts to show what he can do. And here's the terminal. A moment while I search the archives for references to tempering. There we are. Iconic corruption, an overview. That sounds promising. Indeed. Let us see what this report has to say. Yo, why has no one been going through this stuff? Why has the Ironworks not been making copies of literally everything in this database? Oh, maybe this is our answer. Huh? Confound it. Contents appear to have been deleted. What? No. Isn't there something you can do? Not from here, I'm afraid. But it may be that another copy of the report exists elsewhere. Question is, where to look? Well, I mean, you said the ARF yourself, didn't you? It says here the report was written by someone named Owen. Is it likely that he kept a copy? I would say it is a distinct possibility. Assuming he was a researcher here, he will have had quarters on the Habosphere and ascertain the details at Habosphere Control. Let us return to the Bonanza and avail ourselves of the Mana Cutters. We'll need them to reach our destination. I forgot. You already have a suitable means of transport, don't you? No need to waste time accompanying us back to the ship then. See you at the Habosphere. Isn't that a Final Fantasy III reference? It's been like a million years since I played Final Fantasy III, and I didn't find it particularly memorable. To be perfectly honest. You have the right to be wrong? Oh, that's fine. That's okay. Ah, I see, I see. That's right, we do have the G-Warrior, and I do remember that. Tell you, this is the first time the MSQ has taken us back to Azys Lla in a hot minute, isn't it? Between this and all the Unikali stuff, it really feels like a little bit of a nostalgia trip through Heaven's Ward right now, doesn't it? Yes. Yeah, that is right, yes. Welcome to Habosphere Control. How may I assist you? The Mana Cutters appear to be Ironworks made, but I dare say Tataru will craft her own soon enough. If the late Owen did indeed have a chamber here, this note would be able to tell us its number. There. What I recall the layout, it should be somewhere in the vicinity of... Warning, an evacuation order is presently in effect. Entry to the Abysphere is not permitted at this time. Foiled again. In all likelihood, the order would have been imposed during the Fourth Umbral Calamity. I doubt it will be lifted in the near future. Now, that is interesting. That is interesting. Because you would think, you know, given the nature of the Fourth Umbral Calamity, Azazla would be like the safest place to be. And you'd think that intuitively evacuation would mean evacuation back to the surface, but, I don't know. I know we've always wondered, given that, the Allagans had space-age technology and had some, like, prototype spacefaring vessels, that, we aren't going to run into some, you know, interplanetary Allagans at some point. Bzz. Energy level critical. Returning to base for recharging. Well, surely there must be some other way to gain access. Force, for example? Ere we resort to that, I have an idea. Were we to send a surge of energy through yonder control mechanism, it should prompt the system to restart, releasing the locks. As for a suitable energy source, a concentrated lightning shard might suffice. Happily, I seem to recall they are known to form at points of stagnant ether throughout the continent. You seem to recall? Are you honestly telling me that was in the records too? I am. A report sent to the capital mentioned that lightning-aspected ether was prone to pooling on the continent, resulting in surges that interfered with equipment. That's interesting. Hey, Scully Monk, thank you so much for those 2 months of advanced subscription. I really, really appreciate that. That's very generous. And Time Elude, thank you so much for 32-month resub. Wow. Thank you, thank you. Minor detail, I grant you, but in my role as caretaker of the Crystal Tower, there was no such thing as too much Allagan knowledge. Besides, my studies helped me to feel connected to the source. The home. Yeah, Gratia was already, like, one of the experts on Allagan lore, you know, before the Crystal Tower. That's why we got him involved in the first place. So, that interest is already, you know, something that he carried. I must have explored this facility 1,000 times in my mind, but to finally stand here with the two of you is more exhilarating than I can well express. Now then, the lightning shards. If I may, I suggest we split up and search the beta quadrant. Oh, but beware of sprites. They want to manifest where the ether is stagnant. Now you're just showing off. Which makes me think we should make a contest. A contest of this. First return here with a shard wins. What do you say? Alize, every time, dude. Every time. Very well. Would be my honor to come third. He knows it. He knows it. Contest. Let's have a wee contest, eh? Ay. Alright. Well, we give him a head start. Yeah, I know. Like, couldn't I just be like, like, you know? Just me? Okay, alright. Ray of Light always wins, right? I don't know, I mean, we didn't, you didn't always win the contest with Alize in 5.3. You could win, lose, or tie with her. Stagnant lightning. Yeah, we do have lightning shards at home. We've got lightning clusters as well. You think they'd be more than good enough, right? Ah. Well, that's the thing as well. We could just Thunder 3, yeah. Yeah, this would have been interesting day one. Bravo, that was quite a show adventure. Why, the spectacle proved so enthralling that all thoughts of the prize slipped my mind. Who's that? Appears, I appear to have forfeited our little race. Congratulations, the lightning shard is yours. No dramatic entrance, you've changed. Oh, there he is. You remember that? In my defense, I was caught up in the moment. It isn't every day you meet an honest-to-God's hero, after all. Well, the contest continues, so you'd better hurry back. But one last thing. Thank you, Ethys, for bringing me here. Oh, you'd forgotten? Yeah, I think most people would. When he did his little dramatic entrance, jumping off the top of the little ruined spire thing. Bloody show off. Alright, did Alizé win? Oh no, Alizé won! Oh no! You have a shard? Then you win. I searched high and low but couldn't find so much as a trace of stagnant ether. Wait, do you not have your classic Charlian etherometer there? I don't see it on her. Maybe she doesn't. It appears Alizé had no luck, so victory is yours. Congratulations. Now then, may I have the shard? It's like punches you in the throat. Ah, I win! What is it that makes you so much better at finding things? What do you have that I don't? I mean, it's a good question, I suppose. I was about to say the Echo, but yeah, minimap, quest markers. That is a question I too have asked myself on numerous occasions. I suspect we can both learn a great deal from Ethys, and not only about the secrets of adventuring, but come, we should attend to our mission. Excellent. The system responded exactly as intended. We now have access to the Habisphere. Only one obstacle remains. Security systems within. Should they be triggered, they could make life rather difficult for us. In light of which, pray leave the rest to me. If I'm right, my royal blood should allow me to venture in unmolested. Assuming this place works like the Crystal Tower, yes. But if it doesn't, you'll be on your own. I want you to promise us that you'll get out at the first sign of trouble. I promise. Wish me luck. Yeah, I don't know what happened to her half of Louisoire's tome, actually. I'm sure she still got it somewhere. Well, nothing for it but to sit tight. Yes, that is a theory that AoE markers are manifestations of the Echo, letting us like anticipate things a couple of seconds ahead, which is a fun sort of, I guess, way to bridge ludonarrative dissonance. I guess it's a fun theory. The same thing with, you know, the Echo buff. But, I don't know. I tend not to think too much into those things. I'm sure this Owen fellow was very learned. But iconic corruption and overview sounds like a studium thesis. We all had to write one. Yeah. Lest you wonder, mine was about the combat applications of ether. I'm nothing if not practical. Alphino's was more philosophical, of course. Political, dare I say it. He chose to write a lengthy discourse on our nation's duty to the world. Oh my god. Controversial subject, to say the least. He asserted that Sharlayan's knowledge should rightly be used to protect all life on the star, in direct opposition to the country's cherished policy of non-intervention. Being a leading member of the Forum, our father was not happy. Sounds an awful lot like a conversation we were overhearing in Amarot, doesn't it? I mean, the parallels between them are very, very, like, obvious and obviously intended, you know? That Sharlayan is like the modern Amarot. At the time, of course, Alphino was utterly convinced of his views and would cheerfully argue to the death with anyone who saw things differently. By which I mean, the rows were long. To be fair to him, though, he's since learned to be a little more open-minded. Deep down, he still holds fast to that one belief. I admire him for it. I should have liked to meet the young Alphino. For what it's worth, my thesis concerned the Allagan civilization as depicted in folklore. Ooh. That would be an interesting one. That'd be a very interesting one. Oh, you're back. I didn't know you attended the studium. What? You guys... He's got the mark. He's a student of Baldesian. Come on. I didn't. The thesis was required to earn my Archon's mark. Oh, that's interesting. My peers at the Students of Baldesian convinced me to write one with the promise of unfettered access to forbidden tomes. Though I considered it no more than a means to an end at the time, I'll admit it was gratifying to have my efforts acknowledged. Okay, so when they talk about the studium, they're referring to the campus specifically. Good gods, an Archon's thesis. I shudder to imagine the work involved. But enough about that. Is this the fruit of your foray? See, this is really interesting to me because I'm constantly talking about the Archon mark as being like the Sharlayan PhD, and they're referring to it like quite literally along those lines, aren't they? Yes, Owen's archive note. He was waiting for me in his chamber. If a copy of his report still survives, it'll be stored in this device. We find out. No, Alizé and Alphino are not. They are not Archons. Initializing, scanning for registered user. Ah, shit. User not found. To proceed as a guest, please complete biometric authentication. What are they missing? Well, they did like their undergraduate theses, you know? They did those, and the Archon, like I say, the Archon title is like a postgrad thing. Verifying. Authentication complete. Guest identified as member of the royal family. I am at your most humble service, your highness. It never ceases to amuse me. It is but a pity the effect will not last forever. Oga and Une said as much when they granted me this gift, but until such time as it fades, I shall use it gratefully. Search archive for iconic corruption. Searching. Bloop. One item found. Iconic corruption and overview. The report is locked by the author. Please state password. Didn't you get that he's part of the royal family? Well, go on then, your highness. Tell the nice, know the password. Right, let's see. Glory be to Alug. Ah, shit. Long live Emperor Zande. Oh no. Blip, bloop. Password incorrect. Please try again. Confound it. Come now. Passwords are invariably short and simple. For instance... Password. Really, Alizé? The notion that the password could be something so inane would be laughable if it were not dangerously stupid. Furthermore, your conduct in the presence of His Highness is grossly inappropriate. Know your place, handmaiden. What did that thing just call me? Wild Rose. This is ridiculous. Blip, bloop, password incorrect again. Be warned that any further inappropriate behavior in the presence of His Highness will not be tolerated. Alright, that's it. I say we dismantle it and manually extract what we need. Now, let's not be too hasty. A single misstep and we risk losing the report altogether. I believe this may be a task for Sid and his colleagues. If anyone can coax Machina into cooperating, it is them. Come, let us bear the node back to the Rising Stones. That's, was a very Koji little moment there, wasn't it? Interesting. Fine. I'll let Sid try his hand first. But if that doesn't work, we're doing it my way. Threat detected. Oh? I should probably mention that I've yet to meet Sid since waking up. Ambrose did send word to the Ironworks, but it appears our friend has been afield on urgent business. Nevertheless, I assure you that my proposal to seek his help is no pretext, however much I might look forward to seeing him again. Him and everyone. Come, let us be on our way. Yes, I love the whole whether the wild rose blooms is still a reference they keep putting back in. Look at him, all but running. How sweet. Oh, Alizé, like you can talk. Still, it wouldn't do to keep him waiting, shall we? Okay then. I like this. I like that we're back in the source and we're spending time, you know, in these zones, catching up with what's been happening, and it's nice. It's been a long time. An excursion with the two most obvious shipping interests? I don't know about that. Is Alizé one of the two most obvious shipping interests? Large lowborn presence detected. Like that. I like that. I take it you have news to share. So do I. Good. I'm pleased to see your mission was a success, and in no small part due to the bonanza. Cryle's back too. I wonder what was decided at the council. Let's find out! Wonderful news, Ethys. The Tara contacted Sid on our behalf, and he is on his way here even as we speak. While we wait, I should like very much to hear what transpired at the Alliance Council. Would you be so kind, Cryle? As you know, the meeting was convened to discuss how best to respond to recent events in Garlemald. According to the intelligence from our Doman allies, the War of Succession rages on, and the Empire remains without a leader. Amidst the chaos, the Imperial legions in the provinces have begun to move independently of the motherland. Yes, we knew that. Of greatest concern to us is the Third, a legion aligned with Lord Nerva. It appears they have received substantial financial backing from House Brutus. Oh. Now that is interesting. Brutus? Aren't they the ones who took in Yotsu and Asahi? This bodes well. Sure, that's sarcasm. Xenos' movements, meanwhile, remain shrouded in mystery. We're hoping that Thancred and Urianger will be able to shed some light on his activities when they return. Until such time as they do, the Allied leaders feel it would be unwise to interfere in the conflict. And so, thanks in part to the Imperial withdrawal from Gimlet, they have decided to turn their attention to the primal problem once more. That's an interesting, reevaluation of priorities, isn't it? Working with friendly factions among the beast tribes, they hope to reopen dialogue and explore new avenues for peace. Given the timing, I suspect they wish to put their respective houses in order ahead of a decisive clash with the Empire. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Whatever their intent, it is not a problem easily solved. The Laminsons in particular struggle in their efforts, and Alphino and Y'shtola have been called upon to aid them. So long as we are dealing with the Tempered, I'm afraid no amount of dialogue will avail us. But if we can develop a treatment for tempering, then anything is possible. Which is why we must succeed. And on that cheery note, why don't you make yourselves comfortable in Dawn's Respite? I'll show Sid in as soon as he arrives. Okay. She says she's made it comfier than ever. It kind of... same. Sid, at long last. Oh, good day, Aqua. As important as Gabu is to me, I know only too well how much more is at stake here. The cure could change the whole world. Bleep bloop, warning, His Highness is exhibiting elevated blood pressure. You think that he'd have, like, administrative access by default, right? Sid. Well, well. Forgive us for not coming to see you sooner, my friend. As you may have heard, we've had our hands full. In our defense, you are up rather early. I was under the impression you'd be slumbering a while longer. Oh, I would have been, had you not fulfilled your promise. I still struggle with that idea. Where I stand, the secrets of traversing time and space seem exactly as unfathomable as they ever did. But if an alternate version of myself has already laid them bare, I dare say that frees me up to concentrate on other endeavors. This is such a wonderful excuse for apathy, right? Oh, I don't need to do that. I'm sure I already did it in alternate reality. It's fine. Oh, man. Do I want to play Cyberpunk? I mean, I'll get around to it. I'll get around to it. I'm not like chomping at the bit to, you know, play it immediately. I won't die if I don't get to play it, you know, soon. I'll get around to it. Speaking of which, you wanted my help with something. What is it? Well, well. A treatment for tempering. And for the next step, you need to find the password to this Allegan's report. Just so. With nary a clue to guide us, we could be here forever and still not guess correctly. And thus we turn to you. Well, I'd love to say that we can help you. So I will. Once suitably configured, a Magitech terminal should make short work of identifying the password. I knew I could rely on you. Now, anticipating that it might be of use, I took the liberty of borrowing a tombstone from Rambros. It contains an Allegan dictionary. Good thinking. I'll transfer the information to a terminal and set it to work right away. Yeah, there's a thought. You'd think Graha would probably be fluent in Allegan. Ah, looks like it's finished. Let's see. Freedom. The password is freedom. That's interesting, isn't it? Huh. Short and simple, just as I said. Would you care to do the honors, Your Highness? I would, my lady. Note. Open the report entitled Iconic Corruption and Overview. Password, freedom. Password accepted. Bloop. Opening report. Okay. This report seeks to provide an overview of the mechanism by which icons corrupt and bind men to their will. Lord Dump, baby! The phenomenon we call corruption refers to the alteration of the ether of the soul. Said ether ordinarily exists in equilibrium, no one element being more prominent than another. Okay, this is basically going to confirm our suppositions that we were making a little while ago, I think. But when a subject is exposed to the ether of an icon, this changes, their soul taking on the properties of the entity in question. Okay, so I assume talking about it in like ethereal aspect or polarity is probably oversimplifying it. But it's clearly the same principle. By way of an example, exposure to the ether of the fiend Sephiroth would cause the subject's ether to become aligned with the element of earth. Oh, maybe it's not such an oversimplification after all. As a consequence, the subject would attain heightened affinity with earth-aspected magics, as well as preternatural levels of endurance. Repeated exposure would further enhance these traits, ultimately altering the subject's very flesh. Okay, so, like, absolutely what we were saying about Leviathan. Man, this is so satisfying. This is probably one of the most satisfying things about working with the lore of 14, is that it has this internal logic that is so consistent that you get to the point where you can you can science it, right? You can work on those first principles and you can like figure out answers to problems before they're presented to you in the game. And then we get stuff like this that like confirms it, and there is like nothing more. I know I'm such a nerd, you guys, but you know, that's the reason why a lot of you watch me. This is just the most satisfying thing in the world to me. Oh, it's so good. Okay, and then he'll turn into an eggy, I guess. The changes undergone by the subject are not solely attributable to elemental alignment, however. There we go. Further testing has determined that the subject's soul becomes umbrally charged or stagnant during the process. Okay, now here is another confirmation of the way that astral and umbral works. I know a lot of people, since we had that moment in 5.0 where we were like, oh, it's backwards, where a lot of people got confused and they were like, oh, it just works backwards in the first, what it does in the source. No. Umbral is static, astral is fluid, darkness basically pulls towards astral, light pulls towards umbral. They have an interaction, like a very like distinct one-to-one kind of interaction. Hypes, thank you very much, by the way. Thank you. So tempering. Now that is interesting, because what would Zodiac's tempering do then? Surely it wouldn't make them stagnant. The stagnation of the soul has the effect of diluting the sense of self, rendering the subject vulnerable to the will of the icon, the thoughts of whom come to consume their entire existence. Yeah, Voidsent is the opposite, right? Voidsent is going too far towards astral. And as a result, you know, they still have their own like free will, sense of self, all that kind of stuff, right? But Zodiac being all about darkness and presumably being overwhelmingly like astrally aligned, and the Ascians similarly, you know, all of their magic is you know, associated with that polarity. Yeah, you would think intuitively, you know, that's why the Ascians have more of a sense of self, right? But this whole thing about becoming vulnerable to the will of the icon, that being associated with the umbral polarity is it's curious. In this manner do the corrupted become worshippers of the icon, their prayers serving to further empower the entity. Having discerned the mechanism of iconic corruption, my colleagues and I set out to develop a material capable of shielding one from its effects, an endeavor in which we were successful, albeit at great cost. In the course of testing, many of my assistants, good men and women all, fell victim to corruption, and in accordance with protocol, they were summarily put to death. I subsequently submitted a proposal to investigate potential cures for corruption, but it was rejected, deemed non-essential by Lord Amon. Though I knew it would be fruitless, I protested the decision, and for my impertinence, I have been stripped of rank and title and will shortly be expelled from this facility. In all likelihood, this report will be expunged from the archives. Nonetheless, I record in the hope that one day someone will undertake to do that which I could not, to find a cure to the victims of iconic corruption. Recording. Now, hinted that Amon was Emmet. I don't think so, because we fight Amon. Because Amon remained in the Crystal Tower when it was put in stasis. He was in there the whole time. So I'm sure that Emmett was puppeteering Amon, you know. I'm sure that the idea to resurrect Xande was put in Amon's head by Emmett, but I do not think that Amon was Emmett. So, no, don't think so. But not even the Alligans were able to find a cure, or rather, were not given the chance to do so. One cannot help but wonder what motivated Lord Amon's decision. Oh, come on. Come on, it doesn't take that much, figure it out. More importantly, this confirms that stagnation of the soul is indeed the problem, and Angelo can remedy that. True. Yet, were we simply to reanimate a tempered soul, I fear it would do naught to diminish the individual's fanatical faith. Indeed, it may well intensify it. No, would somehow need to suppress the primal's hold over the subject at the same time, or risk them ever remaining its thrall. Of course. Memory transference. The process has the effect of compartmentalizing memories, separating them into manageable bundles, if you will. By adapting the technique, it may be possible to achieve selective reanimation. That is, limit the effects to only those memories that existed prior to tempering. Oh, interesting. Though, thus restoring sense of self, we could theoretically drown out the incitements of false faith which had come to dominate the individual's thoughts. I see. Theory seems sound, and our experience treating the light corrupted would help us identify suitable memories for reanimation. Are you confident you can adapt to memory transference as required? I seem to recall your attempts to do so while trying to bring us home culminated in literal bloodletting. They did, you were right. By my best efforts, I could not recreate the mechanism. I concede that the rather clumsy compromise I reached would not provide the basis for a cure. This is obviously going to take a while. Perhaps it's better that we consider another approach. Your doubts are understandable, but this time I believe we have reason to be confident. You see, nodes such as this were built with the ability to simulate magics, which leads me to believe that it may be capable of performing simulations of the transference technique. So, we will be able to conduct a year's worth of tests within the space of a few days. Okay, interesting. In theory, it'll be no different from how we identify the password. But it'll take more calculating power. A lot more. I honestly couldn't say whether our equipment would be up to the task. Tell me, Sid, why do you suppose Owen locked his report behind the password? Keep it from prying eyes, of course. Why else? Wait. Password that could be guessed by anyone with leisure and a dictionary wouldn't keep it from a person minded to look. No, wanted his report to be seen by those who strive for freedom. Not unlike the members of a certain distinguished engineering collective. I believe their motto was freedom through technology or some such. You two, round up as many Magitech terminals as you can find and bring them to the workshop. Right away, Chief. Things are about to get very busy. Lucky we have you to help, eh? Ooh-hoo-hoo. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Oh, this is getting good. This is my kind of patch, you guys. We're getting there, Ethys, one step at a time. As with our first foray into the labyrinth of the ancients, we seek to venture into the unknown, and in order to succeed, require not only knowledge and preparation, but daring besides. It's like old times. All those Magitech terminals won't come cheap. Shut up, Tataru. Some things you shouldn't put a price on. Suffice it to say, I shall be of whatever help I can. Okay. Right. While Grahartia and I configure the terminals, I want the rest of you to procure supplies. Namely, ceruleum to fuel the terminals and ice shards to keep them cool. The more we have of both, the better. Are we about to build a supercomputer? Is that what we're doing? Leave the ice shards to me. I'll round up some adventurers and go on a gathering spree. I've got like several thousand ice shards right here, no? In that case, I'll trust Ethys and Alisaie with the ceruleum. Here's a promissory note for each of you. Man, ice shard cooling is the real future of gaming PCs. For sure. Why didn't I ever think of that? Taken to Sky Steel Manufacturing in Ishgard and the ceruleum processing plant in Thadalon. People there will give you what we need. Yours is a well-known face in the Holy See, I believe. If it's all the same to you, I'll head to Thadalon. Anything else? Alright. Okay. Can do. Man, it feels good to be back in the source. Feels really good. Alright. Sky Steel Manufacturing. I'm gonna need to go and collect some elegant tomestones of RAM. Elegant RAM stones. No? Just me? Welcome back, Master Ethys. How may I serve you this day? Give me some ceruleum, baby. Yeah, send off the ceruleum. In that case, please present a note to our engineer, the airship landing. He'll be glad to assist you. Alright. Where do we... Okay, yeah. Yeah, airship landing. Careful with those market board scalpers. I imagine we'd have to, Mary. It's a good idea. Ceruleum. You've come to the right man. Fair warning, though. Price has shot up on account of the uncertainty with the Empire, so I hope you got the coin. Oh, those bloody scalpers. Well, now, promissory note from the Ironworks. Don't see many of these. Oh, it's a problem. It's as good as gold to me. Yes, this is consistent with OG Diadem, isn't it? That is interesting. Oh, hello. What's all this then?
My friend! After the disappointment of not seeing you in Alamigo, what good fortune to chance upon you here of all places.
Is that a new voice actor for Emmerich?
As you may have heard, the Allied nations are making a renewed effort to address the primal problem. To that end, have I invited the chieftain of the Vanu to Ishgard, that we might together plot a course. Since the war with the Empire appears to be nearing its conclusion, I would also like to call upon Estinian's lance. Alas, he is, as ever, a difficult man to find.
Yes, that's true. I remember hearing that all the voice recording was done remotely, obviously, and most of the voice actors from home. I was about to say, like, it sounds a little bit tinny, you know? I can tell that it's recorded in a home studio. I mean, it's not bad. It's just like interesting.
I am informed he recently paid a visit to the Rising Stones. Should he happen to do so again, be sure to pass on my regards, won't you? But tell me, what business brings you to our fair city this day? A cure for tempering. You never cease to amaze me. Until now, our only hope has been prevention, our every failure irrevocable. But this would rewrite the rules of engagement. It could end the cycle of bloodshed.
What? It sounds like Emmerich's on like MDMA or something. It sounds like he's
Very
tweaking.
well. You shall have all the ceruleum we can provide, and an airship with which to transport it. In this matter, you may count on Ishgard's full support.
Now, Pharmacuse, that is a very interesting question. Whether the influence of the Great Worms over their progeny is an equivalent phenomenon. That is a very interesting question. Oh shit, we are. We're actually making a supercomputer. Oh man. Outstanding.
Who would have thought ceruleum weighed so much? Serves me right for being stubborn, I suppose. I should have just done what you did and accepted help.
Good work, you two. This is all we asked for and more. Quite a lot more now that I look at it.
Whoa. 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 Now that has to be a different voice actor, right? That has to be. That's, he used to sound like Ewan McGregor, and now he's like, yeah, right, yeah, let's fucking get it up in there, lads, yep. That's strange.
Lord Emmerich, eh? And entirely by chance. Ha! Some people have all the luck.
That's got to be a new voice actor, right? That can't just be like the same voice actor recording from home and having forgotten what he made Sid sound like. I don't hate it, but it's very, very different, you know? And, you know, the old voice was very consistent with the Garlean aesthetic, right? Of being a proper young lordling. I don't know.
We have also succeeded in configuring the terminals, thanks in no small part to our able assistant.
It's been a while, hero. You seem surprised to see me. Lest you misunderstand, I've no interest in such things as cures for tempering. But if you mean to achieve that which eluded even the storied Allagans, it seemed plain that you would require my expertise. And so it proved. Is that not right, Garland?
For all the effort it took to track you down after your latest disappearing act, you could find the cure for death, and it wouldn't be worth the trouble.
That wasn't the only reason I agreed to cooperate. I'm reliably informed that Garland and I are destined to unravel the secrets of travel, not only across dimensions, but through time. Doubtless the lion's share of the credit lies with me. 9 paths to Garland's 1. And this research will be a stepping stone to that illustrious achievement.
Very well then. I'll do 1/10 of the work. Just the part that's beyond you.
I've missed these two.
Whatever you say, Garland.
By the way, the healing applications of crystal foci proved very useful in getting us to where we are now. I must remember to thank Mikoto.
Whoa! An MSQ reference to Mikoto? Now that's, You know, I was saying in the Bozja parts that the Mikoto Sid thing wasn't going to work out on account of her being a side character, but, Well now.
Right. If everyone's ready, let's begin.
See, now I'm gonna have to adjust the way that I do Sid's voice. And I have mixed feelings about that as well.
All appears to be in order. Now, we just have to wait for it to find us our magic. Why not take this opportunity to put your feet up? This may take a while.
I imagine he would have had to have mentioned Mikoto regardless, right? If it's a voice-acted line.
Damn it. It's overloading.
Chief! She won't last much longer!
We'll have to shut it down.
Wait! We're close! So very close!
Oh.
Professional engineers,
Well,
ladies and gentlemen.
This is going swimmingly.
Please, a moment longer. I beg you.
They're just doing the engineering dance. Don't worry about it.
There!
Oh, look, Tataru's an engineer too. Who knew?
I was able to memorize the magic before it faded. It still needs to be put to the proof.
How?
I believe we have our cure.
How? Man, Gra is so fucking overpowered. Oh, by the way, I have a photographic memory as well. I forgot to tell you.
It's just as well. She'll never run again.
Not even the fabled engineering dance worked.
The fault is mine. I'm sorry.
Don't be. It may fall short of dimension hopping, but a cure for tempering is not to be sniffed at. This, my friend, is a world-changing discovery. One we're proud to have had a hand in. A few Magitech terminals are a pittance to pay.
Sid's almost got like an Alamegan accent now. It's strange.
Well, we've done what we can. The rest is up to you.
Maybe he's just sick. Maybe he's just got like some tonsillitis or something. I mean, he has been living in Eorzea for a long time. I guess it would make sense that he's losing the Garlean accent, but oh, like you hear him in Heaven's Ward, and he sounded like Ewan McGregor, you know. Alas, the Ironworks crew couldn't linger long. Far too much to do. Yet brief though our time together was, it was bloody good to see them. Our Noob Cannon mate, thank you so much for 43 months. Wowee, thank you, thank you. Thank you. In the end, we didn't have much to pay for the terminals. In the end, we didn't have to pay for the terminals, which is great for us. Can't help but feel for my counterpart in the Ironworks. Yeah, Jesse gonna be pissed. Ah, jeez. So we finally have it. The cure for tempering. All that remains is to put it to use. We're praying for your success on the front lines. Yeah, I imagine Arenvold, I don't think Arenvold's here, but I imagine Arenvold has probably got something to say about that. And I imagine Fordola is probably not going to be too happy because it means she doesn't get any more excursions. There's nothing quite like basking in the glow of brothers' fighting spirit. Must make this battle with Grahatir happen. Yes, we must. They say Grahatir is a versatile combatant who excels in all roles of battle. I should very much like to test my blade and shield against him. Hey, Coldinate. Warrior challenged you once before, and now he has his sights set upon Grahatir. I fear history is about to repeat itself. So I had a little chat with Grahatir. Though he looks as young as any of us, he has the air of an older person about him. I suspect he's seen more than his fair share of trials. Oh, no one filled these. No one bothered to fill the B team in, I guess. When we went to deliver the ice shards, we had the occasion to speak with Grahatir. Sister says he acts like an old person, but if you ask me, he seems like a perfect gentleman. At long last, we have our cure. In theory, at any rate, cannot be certain until such time as we put it to the proof, but I am quietly confident. Well, if we're to test it on someone, then I suggest Galbu. Symptoms are relatively mild. Yes, as long as we exercise due caution, it'll be fine. Without further ado then, let's make for Limsa. We've kept Galbu waiting long enough. Honestly, with all that ceruleum, I'm lucky we didn't blow up half of the Rising Stones. His plain Alzay is very fond of Galbu. To the extent that I have a hand in it, I shall do all in my power to bring him back. Well, this is the moment of truth. We'll have our host bring Galbu to us at once.
Apologies for the wait.
Galbu, have you been good?
Still no change, I'm afraid. He just stands there in silence until we move him.
It's all right now. We're going to help you get better.